Hello, everybody. Welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join us for Champion. Oh, it's spelt wrong. Look, Championship. We'll change that as we go. Please join me for Championship Review round. Can I talk and type at the same time? Championship Review round 25. There it is, spelt correctly. Part 2. So we're looking at the Wednesday night games. We did the Tuesday night games yesterday. So if you want to check that one out, that is already up on the channel and done. We look at the Wednesday night games now. Bit of a kind of slight pause because we've got FA Cup at the weekend. So still some pretty big stories at the top and at the bottom of the league. Let me know that you can see me and hear me loudly and clearly. We've got 6 games to do. If I press that button there is our running order. So the inevitable, has he talked about so-and-so? You guys can help me out in the chat with that. Let me know if you are watching. And we will try and focus on each game as we go. And if you've got any other topics, save them for the end. And then the chat doesn't get kind of clogged up with that sort of stuff. So we'll go game by game. Before we get round to that, let's do the plugs real quick. Thank you as ever to Russ, a fan and now a friend despite Ben's terrible taste in football teams. He is our fan sponsor of the review show. Really strong supporter of the channel. So thank you to him. He got involved via Patreon. As you can see, you can do the same over there. You can also support via Super Chat, and as ever, the first Super Chatter in any live broadcast becomes the king of the bin and wins the sponsorship to the famous juvenile fake news sin bin. Little bit of fun there, but the Super Chat is deadly serious, really helpful. And of course on YouTube, please hit like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and of course, the most important thing, comment. Give us your opinions. Make this the best channel for reasoned and balanced football chat on YouTube. Right, let's do this. Let's just say hello in the comments here. Hi to Owen. That is Harry, isn't it? Chris and Russ, Noah, Jason, Elite Power, nice. Brad, Chris, and Hal. Right, thank you everybody for saying hello. Let's get into this now. So there are our games. Well, that's the entire round. Let's just go from the Wednesday games. It was Norwich 2, Bristol City 0, Brentford 1, Luton 0, Cardiff 0, QPR 1, Huddersfield 0, Millwall 1, Forest 1, Borough 2, and Birmingham 0, Preston 1. As ever, we will start at the top. There is your running order, ticking along the bottom. So let's have a look at Norwich 2, Bristol City 0. Norwich move 7 points clear at the top. There's a sense that they're now moving just away from everybody. No one can hang with Norwich at the moment. And Bristol City certainly couldn't last night. We covered all of the second half of this one, and it was very, very one-sided. Excellent stuff from Norwich, who look well worth their position up at the top of the table. Now, they've won a lot of tight games, but this wasn't one of them. There are your teams. Krull in goal, Aarons, Hanley, Gibson, Sorensen, McLean, Skip, Buendia, Vrancic, Cantwell, Hugel in for Pookie, who's not fit, scores 2 goals. Good job. For Bristol City, Bentley, Hunt, Callis, Mawson, Rowe. So hoping to build on that partnership for Callis and Mawson. Adelakin, Viner, Naj and Palmer, Jeju and Martin up the top. Let's have a look at the goals. Here is the first one. Lovely crossing by Cantwell, you can see at the top of the picture. And what we do know about Jordan Hugel is given service and starts in the Championship, particularly of that variety, he will score goals. And headed goals, particularly lovely one, glanced into the corner, but Campbell's cross did all the work for him. Beautiful curling cross, outswinging, and Hugo nicely directs it into the corner for 1-0. Here's the second one, which just basically gets chested in by Hugo. What you don't see there is Max Aarons. Hate to say I told you so mode. We saw Dean Holden bring on Narky Wells, go to a front three, and Max Aarons obviously took one look at Narky Wells, who was covering him down the left for that goal, and just went straight past him. Really unfortunate sort of substitution and moment there for Bristol City, and Aarons does really well, gets it in, and Hugo chests that one in. It bounces off Callas first. Bit of a mess, but you do need to give Aarons credit for the assist. The numbers in the game, as you can imagine, Norwich, well, they're not their thrilling selves from 18-19, but it's all a bit different now, because I think part of the thrill of Norwich in 18-19 was the surprise of it all, whereas now, they've got the best manager, the best squad, the biggest broadcast income. Everybody knows about them now. They've just come down from the Premier League, and teams set up accordingly. So it's a bit different. It's a bit more just keep chipping away against a lot of sort of defensive setups against them. But every game, it's the same, isn't it? Dominate the possession, have loads of shots, and invariably can make chances and don't concede any, which is very simply put the sign of a good team. Lots of players coming back as well. Hernandez and Dowell coming off the bench. So Norwich looking hugely strong, and they are, well, just miles clear now, aren't they? 7 points clear at the 25 game point, 53 points from 25. Very, very impressive stuff. I said last night in the watch along, 3 points ahead of 2 points per game. If they're 3 points ahead of 2 points per game at the end of the season, that would obviously be 95 points, which would beat even their total from 18-19. So what else can you really say about Norwich? Going along beautifully. Bristol City, well, it looks like this season you're not defining your season in your games against Norwich, because they look fairly nailed on to finish in the top two. Whereas other games they've been more competitive in. It was 2 wins in 3 before then. I don't know. Just feels it feels like that the Bristol City fans are kind of like, it's like that they haven't really had a new manager or much of a change, with Holden flitting to Johnson flitting to Holden. I don't know. I feel they're not that excited by all of this. Obviously, they've had their injury troubles, but they're up there in 9th. And look, 11 wins. They know how to win in the Championship, and Holden is finding his feet. Let's have a look at some of your comments on this. We'll read that one out. McDonald's needed. Shall I get on the way home, or do you want after your stream? I'll call you after the stream, darling. But that sounds highly desirable. What do we got here? Sophie, 2 things can be true. Bristol City were hampered by their injury crisis, but some are nourished. Yep, totally agree with that. Walk in the park. I don't really think it would need to bring Krill in. Well, he has certain invisible things that we don't see. But yeah, I agree. It was a walk in the park for Norwich, wasn't it? Games in hand for Brentford could make it interesting at the top. It could, but if that happens, Jay, it feels like that would just be the two of them going off and having a little title race. That's sometimes good, though, isn't it? Because 2 teams can push each other and get away from the rest, can't they? John, comment of the day. Great work, Ben. You're the best football vlogger on YouTube. Unbelievable scenes. Swansea v Brentford next weekend. Norwich could pull away, says Dale. And no, well, we'll talk about this in a minute. No Tony for Brentford as well. McDonald's, Ben. I'm shocked. Look, I know where my bread is buttered, David. I'll do as I'm told. Norwich look much more of a unit, better defensive. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Steve says, mustn't grumble, but Norwich chance conversion rate is still poor. First world problems, eh, Steve? Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? And then it will just be an absolute procession akin to Newcastle under Houghton or Wolves under Nuno. It will be going out into those sort of totals. So, yes, fairly straightforward narrative when we're talking about Norwich at the moment. And they'll be very pleased to have gotten 25 games under the belt when other teams are going to have some congestion. Just read that one. Ben Gibson yesterday was excellent. Chris says Farker is not better than Cooper. Farker has more resources. Flopped dismally in the Premier League. Chris is throwing that grenade in there. Tony will be back for Swansea. Oh, of course, they've got FA Cup. Good point, Hal. Good point. Indeed. Tyler says, will Norwich play full strength? Absolutely not. But their reserve team is a force to be reckoned with now as well. Right, let's go on to the next one, which the running order tells us, and we've already mentioned it, is Brentford, their victory against Luton. And from what I learned from Hal was watching for us last night, we had Luton fans watching as well. Luton had a really good crack at this in the second half, and Brentford will be pleased to come away with the clean sheet and the win. And obviously, in the absence of Pontus Jansson as well, clean sheets good. And Brentford's excellent form continues, doesn't it? There's your Brentford team. Raya, Dalsgaard, Pinnock, Sørensen, Henry. Maybe get used to that. And what did the tweet say? Jansson will be back for the run-in. So he's going to be out for a while. Didn't matter last night. They got the clean sheet and the win. Godos moving into midfield there and getting his first goal. Interesting that, because I suspected he was a Ben Rama replacement. Maybe not. Janel Jensen as well. Norgard being slowly eased back in, isn't he? And Buemo, Tony, Kanyos up the top. Slugar, Bree, Lockyer, Bradley, Potts and Panzu, Cornick, Berry, Dewsbury Hall, Monka and Collins up the top there for Luton. Let's have a look at the pictures. Sorry, a bit blurry this one. Great cross by Brian Buemo down the right. Really whips that one in. And Godos arriving. Maybe this is going to be a better fit for Godos, a little bit further back in that team, if indeed that was where he was. And he gets the only goal in this one. Couple of, I haven't brought them all up because we'll be here all day. Couple of chances for Luton, one for Jensen for Brentford. And then I haven't even seen what the incident was here because time is limited and it wasn't in the highlights package. But there is Tom Lockyer. That's 2 games running now. Remember, it was him that the flailing arm of Lerma caught and Lerma got red card. So a controversial one there. Actually, let me be perfectly transparent with you. I can't call it a controversial red card because I haven't seen the incident. So if anyone can smart me up, let me know. It involved Ivan Toney anyway. He gets a second yellow and the red card. And I'm sure we'll figure out in the chat that, yeah, if there is a cup game in between, he will be back for that massive game, Brentford versus Swansea. That's a season definer, that one, if you get a good win either side. So both teams end with 10. Let's have a look at the numbers, and you will see that Luton did give it a decent crack. 55 on the possession in their favour. Only 3 shots on target, 5 to Brentford. 2 big chances to 1 is always revealing. And in the same thing we said about Norwich, if we do trust underlying numbers, which it's okay to at times, always mix it with the eye test, Brentford very consistently, and I always say football's very simple to analyse. Good teams create consistently a lot of chances and don't concede them. That's all we can say. They don't always win because, you know, things can go awry in a game. But good teams very consistently, doesn't matter how they do it. I'm not talking about passing or flow of play, but good teams create lots of chances and don't concede many, or big chances particularly. Let's have a look at the table and what that does for Brentford, who are... someone tell me in the chat, in the league, must be 15 or 16 undefeated. Now, only 3 defeats for them. Look at that, 4 straight wins. So even though Norwich are way out in front, the form team in the league is Brentford. But they are still, how many points back from Norwich? They're 9 points back with 2 games in hand. And believe me, especially in COVID year, you'd rather have the points on the board than the games in hand. But brilliant stuff from Brentford, and we look forward very much to the game against Swansea. Cannot wait for that one. Luton, spotty, but they're competitive all the time, aren't they? And there are many, many worse teams in this division than Luton, who are most definitely punching their way. It would be wonderful to see them in the top half. It's going to be difficult. The home form has propped them up so far, but to be 13th is really decent. I mean, when you look at it, only 3 points off 9th. So very, very competitive in that mid-table Luton. Let's have a look at your comments. 16 undefeated. Wonderful stuff. Dasher says, 2 minutes before lock, you got elbowed by Tony. Cameron didn't catch the red card. Shame. Jones will be appealing. Luton good in the second half, couldn't finish. I think that's been the pattern, hasn't it? Jason, good win for Brentford. Frank praised Luton. Not surprised. Tony possibly needs to find form. Good Goss. Godos scored. And then Hal follows up. Look, Godos plays superbly in midfield. Passing accuracy, key pass. Interesting. Very, very interesting. I mean, we saw Brentford move Watkins across the position. I wonder, can they do the same with Godos? If your pattern of play is steady and set, then you can move the pieces about. Good old Godos looked like one of the best players on the pitch, says Charlie. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Brentford have seen 11. Is it 11 red cards? Wow. Goodness me. If anyone knows the answer to that, I'll not get into that sending stuff. I think they do. Yeah, I think they do. So I do. I think I was incorrect earlier when I said that Tony would miss the Swansea game. They certainly won't want that to be the case. Moving on next is Nottingham Forest 1, Middlesbrough 2. Forest's good run of 12 points in 6 games is halted by Neil Warnock's Borough. There are the teams. More red card stuff in this one that we'll no doubt have to talk about. Samba, Christie, Worrell, McKenna, Ribeiro across the back. Sal and Yates. Have we got is Owen here? Let us know what's happened to Yates. He's gone off injured there. Mighton, Cafu, Amiobi, Graben. That's been solid for Houghton recently. For Borough, Bettinelli, Jake Steele, Fry, McNair, Boller, Morsey, Howson, Saville, Tavernier, Assombalonga, and Watmore. And I think it's 4 wins in 6 for Borough, who are not going away, are they? They've got a little bit of the Stoke syndrome in that you think, oh, they're the ones, they'll get into the playoffs, and then they get up there and have a little fall off and get back up there. But like Stoke, they're not going away, and this is a good win against an in-form Forest team. Here's the opener. Cross from the right from Howson. Assombalonga sticks that one in. I think possibly Christie's playing him on. I haven't seen an angle from the offside of Assombalonga, of course, against his old club. Lovely composure for George Saville. And I think Howson might have played him in for that one as well. Let me just double check that one. No, I beg your pardon. Tavernier played Saville in, but nonetheless, brilliant composure by Saville because he runs in from a long way. Sticks that one home. Here is Loic Mbe-So in the 93rd minute. Bit blurry there. Brilliant cross by Joe Lolly. Can you see him at the bottom of the picture? Where's Lolly? There we go. Why didn't I think of that? There he is at the bottom of the picture. So blasts that in. Now, that was in the 93rd minute with 4 minutes minimum stoppage time. And then we had a lovely old kerfuffle at the bottom in the corner flag area. Ribeiro ends up getting red carded. I don't know what Assombalonga did to provoke him. I've seen things said. I'll steer clear of that one. What the camera did pick up very clearly is Ribeiro's very silly. If you're head to head and you advance the heading, you know you're getting sent off. The laws say intent to strike with arm or head, regardless of contact or force. You just can't do it. And he knows he's getting the red card, and that'll be violent conduct one. So 3 games, and we'll let the FA and the EFL deal with Assombalonga if indeed he did anything worth punishing in terms of provocation. Look at the numbers though. Look, 16 shots for Borough to 5, 6 corners to 4, 2 big chances to 0, regardless of what happened in the 96th, 7th minute or whatever. Looks like a really solid, viable performance by Borough, who, like I say, 6 wins in 4. They're in 7th place, 3 points off the playoffs, with a game in hand on Bournemouth, who are not in good form. Again, for Borough and for Stoke, they need that little edge, more consistency to get in there. Forest, well, we can't be negative about Forest because they've just come off the back of a good run of 6 games. So they've got credit in the bank, but this cannot turn into a bad run with a rising tide at the bottom there. Look, Wednesday, 6 points from the last 2, Rotherham 4, Derby 3, Forest 3, Birmingham 3, Coventry 3, QPR 6. People are scoring points in the bottom 8 down there of late. I wonder if we'll get a rising tide akin to that of last season that saw Charlton get relegated with 49 points. Let's have a look here in the comments. Owen, I'm not gonna talk a Sombalonga or an offside. If you can send me a clear camera angle, I'm happy to talk about it. But not having seen either, it wouldn't be sensible of me to talk about it. I can read that the EFL are investigating. Good news, a good win for Borough, says Jason. Yeah, not sure about Sombalonga. We'll let the EFL deal with that. You can tell the snow, Jay says, starting hitting places. The red cards piled up. Players trying to get in the wall. Tremendous. I thought Warnock was past it. Never write off the Warnock, hey? He'll go out on his own terms. Forest still haven't beaten anyone higher than 16th at home. Interesting. Now, Chris's last point that Borough improving away would intimate a playoff finish because they've been excellent at home. So let's see if they can keep that up. Ben says Borough losing at Wednesday and Birmingham have really stunted their promotion effort. Where would they be with 6 more points in the top 6 for sure? Remember, this is Warnock, though. Warnock plays the long game, doesn't he? And he knows how to get teams up. Let's move on to Birmingham 0, Preston 1. And that horrible home form for Birmingham continues. They lose again. Preston move up into 10th. That must be, someone correct me in the chat, that must be a season high for Preston, mustn't it? Up to 10th now, in a kind of new look Preston team. We'll do them first. Everson in goal. Oh, look, Brown's back at right back. I thought he was permanently going to be midfielder now. Never mind. So Everson, Brown, Huntington, Davis and Hughes. Whiteman and Ledson is the midfield double pivot there. Sinclair and Mollenby injured. Anyone let me know about that? Potts and Reese gets the start. So starting to develop a new team that maybe going forward is not going to contain Gallagher, Johnson and Pearson, maybe Ben Davies by the end of the season as well, the contract. So Alex Neil, if he's staying long-term at Preston, is going to have to build another team. Karanka at Birmingham is in the process of attempting to build a team. There it is. Etheridge, Collins, San Jose, Dean, Friend, Sunyic, Keefton Bell, Sanchez, Terrell, Bella, Hogan. We are expecting an arrival today as well on loan from not very far away. Here is the goal. It's a really good goal, actually. What you don't see is Sinclair, who's just shooting the ball from the angle there. Plays a really nice ball round the corner to break the press. Mollenby carries it and then plays Sinclair in. Finishes well. It's a lovely goal, actually, I have to say. And it was the only goal. And look at that one. Bit of a, can you call it a smash and grab when Birmingham didn't create any big chances? Look, 14 shots to 6, only 2 on target, 55 on the possession. Looks like Preston, I don't think you can back me up on this, Preston did a job there, but they created the one big chance, which they didn't score. That must have been Potts hitting the post, but they've gone there, they've got a clean sheet, and they've got the 3 points. They did their job, and Preston move up into 10th position. I would be surprised if they made a playoff challenge because they've been so all over the place with their form, but they're in decent nick at the moment. The wins are coming, 3 wins in the last 5, 9 points in the last 5. That'll get you moving, won't it? 9 points every 5 games, certainly up towards those playoff positions. It's just difficult to see anyone up there surrendering the playoff berth. But, hey, it's a championship, everybody. Birmingham in 19th. After that good win at Borough, will be concerned. Forest improving. obviously with the defeat in mind last night. Derby, great result against Bournemouth, and maybe Rooney then pushes them forward. Certainly the form under Rooney as opposed to Koku is not necessarily relegation form. I'd have to check the points per game on that, but I don't think it is. Rotherham, 4 points in 2. Wednesday, 10 points in 4. Birmingham, Coventry, QPR, Millwall, Cardiff all need to be wide awake, don't they? Because the tide does feel like it's rising. Hey, it's the bottom of the league. It may not raise forever, but at the moment, we can say it's rising. There is that home form, unbelievably bad for Birmingham. 2 wins all season, worst in the division. 8 points from 13. Horrible, horrible home form, stopping Birmingham, who have obviously got 18 points on the road. If they've got 18 points at home and 18 on the road, they'd be 9th. So you can see where the issue is for Birmingham. Let's go to your comments. Chris, can't help think that Preston should be pushing for playoffs. Them and Blackburn are very similar this season. Yeah, they does feel there's a level below the parachute cartel, and Reading have done so well to put themselves in the level with Brentford and Brentford and Swansea, the teams that have been down before for more than one season. And then it does feel with sort of Stoke and Borough at the moment are like a level, I know the league table tells us that as well, a level above Blackburn and Preston, I feel, this season. But hey, there you go. The amount of chances we had in the first half was ridiculous. We didn't score. Fair play to Preston, wanted them more in the second half. David says, first half played okay, just not good enough. Second half, interesting. Not sure if more concerned about our position or that Karanka isn't concerned. Is he playing the confident game? Good win for Preston. I always said, friend, just to annoy Anir, who hates it when I do that. S. Housery. Tyler says, Preston seem to win 1-0 a lot. Good defence. Nothing in attack. Where would Preston be with like a really decent championship level striker? Or even someone like a Jutkovic, who's just really consistent, and bringing in the people like Sinclair and Maguire and Barkhuizen. Who knows? A great performance from Bella last night. That's been one of the best signings we've had in the championship in the past year or so, isn't it? Free agent outside the window, Jeremy Bella. Show the away form. We're getting onto that. And we get onto an excellent week or so for QPR. Is that the next game? No, it's not. Huddersfield 0, Millwall 1. Get your comments in on this one. When do we get to stop saying that Huddersfield are good at home? Because they've lost 2 straight home games now. And I think, was it 4 or 5 straight defeats as well? A little bit of a slip from Huddersfield. There are your teams from last night. Millwall going up to Huddersfield and getting the win. There are the teams. Schofield, Keogh on his return. Vallejo, Sarr, Pipper and Toffolo wing back. So Brian and Bakuna central. Aaron's Ward, Campbell up the top. We got used to the 4-3-3, didn't we? And sort of Koroma and Eiting. So bit of a change now with those guys not available. For Millwall, Bialkowski, Leonard playing centre-back. Unbelievable scenes. Hutchison and Cooper, Malone, McNamara. McNamara keeps his place. Woods, Williams. Thompson as a 10 with Wallace and Bodvarsson up front. Gary Rowett is still trying to find the formula. Lots of new stuff. This game, particularly with repositioning of Leonard and of Wallace in that team shape. Here's the goal. What a great finish that is. Scott Malone coming in. Is he left back? I don't know why he's coming in on the right-hand side. Very confused by that. And curls it in off the far post. Take a look at that one because it's a brilliant finish. Ben Thompson, though, a bit clumsy on, is that Lewis O'Brien? Takes him down. But Bialkowski goes the right way and Campbell's penalty, spot the ball, is about to hit the crossbar and fly away from the goal. So a missed pen, big chance for Huddersfield. One more there where Naby Sarr can't quite stretch any contact on that. Look, Bart's not getting there, is he? But he stretches and puts it over the bar. Really good result for Millwall. What do the numbers say? The numbers say 2 big chances apiece. So the numbers say Millwall sneaked a tight game there that Huddersfield could have got something from. Lots of possession for Huddersfield, but hey, We often put big chances ahead of possession in our analysis here. Let's have a look at the tables. And the wins are very intermittent, aren't they? It seems to get to sort of doomsday for Gary Rowett, and then he wins, doesn't he? And then a little run without getting a win, and then another win comes. So he's just keeping the wolf from the door at the moment, Rowett, 29. But remember what I said. If that tide keeps rising, it may not. Sheffield Wednesday, Rotherham may stop winning. Who knows? It's only been a 4 or 5 game sample of the tide rising, but they'll be coming for those teams, sort of trying to make the bottom 3 into a bottom 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 if they can. The more the merrier for the teams down there, and create some carnage. And we might get a situation like last season. Huddersfield, look at that, 4 defeats in 5, and the home form slipping slightly, but still 31. And the general idea, given resources and situational stuff, that Corberon is doing a good job there. What are you guys saying here? Jimmy, let me just take a swig of my drink. Jimmy says, another weird team selection from Wow, and he stuck on all 4 subs at once. Fair play. Got the job done. Indeed, he did. Is it true Millwall have only won 2 in the last 16? A lot of draws keeping them away. Yes, indeed. Wins at a premium. Tyler says, I've seen a lot of Huddersfield fans say they could go down this season. Things don't pick up. One win in 5. You would just think in terms of Huddersfield that often organisation, consistency of pattern of play saves you from relegation, doesn't it? You know, we just talked about Millwall, where we get a new strategy every game, don't we, virtually, whereas Huddersfield's and Coventry's won't change. Now, whether they have enough quality is a different matter, but certainly in terms of that criteria for staying up, that's some good news. Malone had just taken the corner. I was confused by that. Boylan's lost their head. Think Huddersfield are hard to read. Agreed. They're a club thinking long-term in some ways, but fans are so used to short-term success or failure. Very mid-table in every way. That's what they'll hope for. So, yeah, agree with that. Thanks for doing these videos. Grateful. You are very, very welcome. Just hit the subscribe button. That's all you have to do, and keep commenting. Millwall got a bit lucky with the missed pen and the psalmist, but Millwall also had what seemed to be a good goal disallowed. So pretty even, pretty good. Huddersfield was so ponderous in getting the ball into dangerous areas. We blocked up the midfield. Leonard and Malone, outstanding. Malone on the right because he'd taken the corner. Thank you. Chris, what was I going to say? Yeah, that's one thing I will say about pattern of play. When pattern of play becomes ponderous, you get what Derby were doing in the latter days under Koku, where it's just really predictable and slow. And you just stand off 5 yards and keep taking the ball off them, don't you? So interesting. Getting interesting at the bottom. Teams starting to win. And if it keeps happening, we get the last season situation. Remember, I try and always keep it simple. Remember, teams at the bottom are at the bottom for a reason, and they don't keep winning. But hey, last season it happened, didn't it? So let's see how it all pans out down there. Right. Last but not least is Cardiff 0, QPR 1. Back-to-back wins for Rangers since the return of Austin. Charlie Austin's return, although he wasn't on the pitch when the goal went in this one. But what we have seen is Austin return, a change of system, Bright Samuel's deal done in Turkey, and 2 wins. So it's a change of scene. Then you'll take it, whatever has caused it. 2 wins is 2 wins, isn't it? So well done, Rangers. And a 6-point bump when you're in the bottom 8 is never a bad thing. There's your Rangers team. Dieng, Dicky, Cameron, Barbet, Hammerlinen and Kane. Remember, Bright Samuel played left wing back in the last game. I don't suspect that. I think they'll do a deal where Fenerbahce take him on loan before the pre-contract goes in. I just don't see the point now. If he's going, he's going. And look, if it was, say, Buendia at Norwich, yeah, keep him playing because he'll get you up. Whereas Samuel QPR, if they're not in real trouble, back your players who are permanent players who are staying longer than 6 months, and Willock in and scores. So yeah, we'll see how that one pans out. Bull, Chair, Willock, Dykes and Austin up top. New look Cardiff team with Ng and Watters making their debuts. I like both the signings. Cardiff looking at the lower divisions there, Crawley and Crew for those two players. Smithies, Ng, Morrison, Nelson and Bennett. Rules, Volks, Bakuna. Moore is back and starting now, which is good news for Cardiff. Watters and Wilson get the start in the front three. Makes a lot of sense on paper. Not working, though, is it? Here is the... well, we'll show this because I think Senny Dieng played really well. That was NG on his debut and right through the crowd. Good hit, really good save. I could have put up 2 or 3 good saves by Dieng. Here is the goal. Low drive by Willock, touch and finish. I think it just goes through Nelson and then through Smithies as well. But they stayed tight. They kept in the game and they got that goal, didn't they? Let's see what the numbers say. Look, it's a tight win. It's a really tight win, isn't it? 50-50, 11 shots apiece, 5-6 on the on target, 4-6 on the corner kicks, 1 big chance apiece. Really tight game, and QPR did the business. But that's what happens when you're not in good form, isn't it? You lose tight games. You take a Norwich who've won a load of tight games. They're in form and a good side. Cardiff are not in form and at the moment not a good side, and they're losing tight games. 5 straight defeats. Ouch. I think it's 6 defeats in 7 possibly as well. Bad run. Remember, Cardiff are a year 2 parachute team, presumably paying lots of money to Harry Wilson and a couple of those loan signings. It's not Wilson's fault. I'm just saying they probably shouldn't be 15th and losing 5 on the trot. Remember, they'd had a purple patch of wins before this. QPR, excellent stuff. They'd had a run, I think, of like 9 or 10 points in 5 games prior to the recent winless run. But look at that, a 6-point bump right at the right time as well, because they would be right down there in the bottom 4 if they'd, had 1 or 0 points from these last 2 games, given Derby, Rotherham, Sheffield Wednesday, Forest all sort of picking up points of late. So is the Austin return going to be what just gives them that little bump? Obviously, long term, Warburton needs to build a team that's not just going to go the way of a lot of teams that stay in the Championship a long time, don't have parachute payments or brilliant recruitment. We know where those teams, Ipswich, tend to end up if you don't challenge with the recruitment, or you don't have your lightning in a bottle Chris Wilder or David Wagner season. We know where the line kind of takes you. Let's have a look. What you were saying on the way up, hopefully the Austin effect. Austin should have had a goal too. Dieng, best keeper in the league. Remember my criteria. If you're enthusiastic about one of your players and you call them the best in the league, you have to give me your top 5. So get me your top 5 there, QPR forever. Austin is a brilliant Championship striker. Shows if Preston or a Barnsley had him, would be higher. Interesting point there. Wouldn't be the model of Barnsley, but Preston put Nugent in their last season, didn't they? So talking about Cardiff, can you believe it's been 2 years today since Salah, the striker that they signed, was killed in that accident. Very, very sad stuff. Dieng, lovely stuff. Right. That is it for, have I done all the games? This most recent show. Yes, with postponements, we have done all of the games. That is the look of the table as well. Let me say thank you to everybody for joining. Plugs once again. Let's say thank you to Russ, who is our fan sponsor, a fan in our friend Spike Ben's Terrible Taste in Football Teams. He sponsors all of our review shows. Please have a think about Patreon. As the channel grows and things build, we'll be able to make the service on there really, really good and get some exclusive stuff and some really good shows that just go down there. At the moment, we're in that point of when can we switch over? We can't take too much off YouTube and put it all on Patreon. But ultimately, I want to reward those people who've supported me. We do at the moment with the Q&As and the quick predictions shows. So things working their way nicely. But if you do really want to support the channel for as little as sort of $3 a month is the lowest tier, then it really does make a difference. And thank you for all the people who've done that. As ever on YouTube, please hit the like button before you go. Hit it. Draws other people to the stream. You've been amazing with your comments. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. 13,800. We're slowly making our way to 14,000, hopefully, as the channel grows. Thank you, everybody, for watching. All that remains for me to do is pull out my earphones and say over and out. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.